All right, welcome back. It is 3 minutes past 5, and big hard fact we're looking at today: the value-added tax. It's a discussion that has generated a lot of discussions, controversy, and all of that after it was revealed that the Federal Executive Council, following its meeting on Thursday, had approved 7.2%. And there have been supporters like the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, and they've also been dissent like the Chartered Institute of Taxation. Well, the Chartered Institute of Taxation is in support, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria in opposition, saying that they don't agree with it. And so we've gone on and on about this entire thing, and finally we're going to have a discussion quickly without much ado. I have two chartered accountants here, both of them public affairs analysts, but then one is a petroleum, it's an oil and gas expert as well as a petroleum engineer, so I guess that's where it differs from the other. Let's welcome Alistair Wilcox. Alistair Wilcox, the chartered accountant, public affairs analyst. Good to have you join us, Alistair Wilcox.
Well, thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
And Alistair has been joined by a good friend too. Both of you guys were in Abuja, I understand, last week also too, the Chartered, the ICANN conference. Bala Zaka.
Thank you. And Alistair, my Oga, I greet you.
Yeah, it's nice to have you, Bala. How are you doing?
I'm all right. And you?
It could be better.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, both of you, for joining the conversation. And Bala Zaka is the petroleum engineer, so that's where he differs with Alistair. But Alistair is from the oil producing Niger Delta too, so I guess that evens up the conversation also too. Okay. Now, let me start with your reactions first and foremost to the debate over the value-added tax. Some have said the timing is not appropriate. Others have said there is no time like now. Start with you, Bala Zaka, on this one, on what you think about the value-added tax and the implications for the country.
This is where I want to start it first. But thank you for the introduction. But I still want to start this way. Actually, like you rightly said, Alistair is, as a chartered accountant, Alistair is my senior colleague. As also a tax analyst, Alistair is my senior colleague. And like you said, last week, we were all in Abuja, trying to discuss on how to get Nigeria on the path of sustainable growth and development. Right. There was also this opportunity to discuss. I was also at a forum with the Minister for Finance, right, where we discussed about the 2020 to 2022 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper, right, where also the Minister for Finance talked about the plan, the budget projections for 2020, and she also said something about VAT.
Right.
This is the way I will say it. As far as I'm concerned, I want to be at variance with the government. I am not in support of this increase, and I have my reasons. I may not necessarily be right, but I have my reasons, and in the course of these discussions, I may give my reasons and be willing to learn from the reasons of others, whether they are the same as mine or at variance with mine.
So I guess this is where the divorce happens between you and Alistair, because well, let me ask Alistair first and foremost whether he's in support before I assume things.
Well, thank you very much, and my good friend Bala, I think for the first time wants to be at different sides of the divide.
No worries, my Oga.
As for the issue of VAT, I think the time is overdue. Overdue in the sense that because people are saying there is no best time, that the time is not ripe. I don't know when time will be ripe for anything to be done. I remember when the former Prime Minister of UK came to power, David Cameron, within his first 3 months in office, the first thing he did was increase school fees from £3,000 to £9,000. and that created a lot of uproar, and people are saying the time is not right. I think everybody has adjusted to that increase. And I also remember that he also increased the VAT from 12.5% to 17%, even at that period. Although that took effect after about 6 months, because it was given a 6-month gestation period. For now, this increment is not even going to take effect now. It's what is being proposed for 2020 to be included in 2020 fiscal plan. So the public is only being informed. For me, as far as I'm concerned, it could have been done like yesterday. I've always called for it because we operate in one of the lowest VAT regimes in the world. And as we speak, government, I don't work for government, let me make that clear. I don't have any affinity to government, but the fact remains that government responsibilities are increasing by the day. Production is increasing, demand on government is increasing, and therefore government must raise money. And government do not print money. Government raise money through businesses, through taxes, through all those other sources that government can raise money from. So government must raise money. And again, if we look at this VAT, who benefits more? Because we've been talking about the grassroots.
Right.
Who benefits more from VAT is the state and local government. The federal government, as far as I'm concerned, gets only 15% of VAT, while the state gets about 50% and the local government gets 35%. So we are looking for development at the grassroots level. Then they need more money to operate, and as far as it's concerned, this is the kind of money that will touch the grassroots more. So it's more than due for the increment. I think those who are saying that it's not time, time is not right. I think maybe many of us misunderstand the concept of VAT. This is not a general tax. This is a special tax that is based on consumption. Yes, you might feel it affects so many things. Yes, I agree. But again,
if it affects the prices of goods and services, for example, like the argument I've heard from the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, that it will also be passed on to the consumer in the long run and will affect the price of goods in the market. What's your response to that?
Well, certainly there must be some adjustments here and there in terms of price increments. But the truth of the matter is that people are not always honest when increments are to be applied or absorbed. That is the dishonesty of our system. Now, the VAT is to be increased by about 2.2%. Good. Above what is presently today. The temptation therein would be that people whose goods are vatable might end up increasing their goods by as much as 10 to 15% and blame it on VAT. That is the functional economy.
This is where I'm going to bring in Bala Zaka, this level of mistrust, the people and the government, saying, for example, if we, like Alester has pointed out, if we cannot trust people to raise prices by a reasonable amount, which is significant to the increase that happened, we also cannot trust government to say, for example, this is the money we've gotten from VAT and this is how we're going to use it, for example. Interestingly, Bala Zaka, you've been having a lot of interviews with respect to the medium-term expenditure framework, which you said you also spoke with the Minister of Finance at an event last week, saying that, for example, with the subsidy removal, subsidy reinvestment, whatever name has been used in previous administrations, arguments have always been that we cannot see transparency in how these monies have been used. Bala Zaka.
I really feel comfortable. I'm very, very relaxed whenever I'm talking with you guys, especially in your studios on national issues, honestly. And that was why you see I'm down to earth. I'm so relaxed, and I'm even talking to my Oga Alester. But these are things that I want to be blunt, and I'm happy he accepted that. Even you people accepted that I'm free to be at variance. After now, he's free to give me knocks on my head. No wahala. But this is the way I want to go about it.
Let's go ahead.
He is saying, okay, Alester is saying that there will be no right time. Let me approach it this way. We went into this democracy in year 1999. We are now in year 2020. But the government doesn't want to tell us that there is no right time for them to give us good roads. They are not saying that it is overdue for them to give. The only thing is overdue to have increased to have increased taxes. They are not telling us that it is already overdue for them to have given us good roads. It's overdue for them to have given us good hospitals. It's overdue for them to have given us good schools. It's overdue for them to have given us good security. The government for coming out to even give the reason for this VAT increase is an insult. And so at some point we should let them know that they need to internally consult, and they should understand that we didn't elect them there to go and be ordinarily political leaders. They should be very good economic leaders and economic managers. Do you know the reason even the government is giving for this increase in VAT?
Right.
They are saying that they want to increase this VAT so that some states can be able to afford minimum wage. That's an insult on the intellect of Nigerians. And the reason why I'm saying this is this. The whole civil servants,
Right.
the whole civil servants are not up to 5 million. They are probably about just 2 or 3 millions.
Good.
So the government is trying to let us know now that they want to punish probably more than 150 million because they want to generate money to pay less. So you see, even when you look at the reasons the government is giving, the reasons are so nauseating. We all accept that the tools for fiscal policies are basically taxes, then government spending and expenditure.
Right.
We accept that. We also know that when you talk about emerging economies, emerging markets and development economies, Nigeria is one of them.
Yeah.
And I also accept that in an emerging economy, the government is supposed to be the biggest debtor. The government is supposed to be the biggest consumer.
So,
the government is supposed to be the biggest guarantor also.
Right.
But in this context, in the course of this discussion, you will understand why the government just want to punish Nigerians, discourage investment, and kill even those who are already tax compliant.
So, Mr. Zaka, you together with Lester, you're the chartered accountants. You're the ones who can do the math better than anyone in saying, for example, and you were at the discussions on the medium-term expenditure framework, which is the background for budgeting and how we can look at things in the next 2 years, saying that the money is taken from VAT. Are you saying that it cannot add up to the minimum wage payment for workers in the country, or it's just cosmetic?
No, when you talk about revenue generation,
right,
every citizen will be proud and happy to support his government to generate revenues.
Right.
Because without revenues, you cannot carry out activities. Without revenues, there will be no governance. Without revenues, you cannot control security. But we are saying this same government, because government to me is a continuum, regardless of which government is in power.
Right. Now,
but government is government. That was why when we heard that there was this judgment debt, of 9.6 billion, we learned that if it was negotiated and managed properly, the amount will have been less.
Right.
But because government is a continuum, whoever government that is in power must do the right thing. Just like when Obama succeeded George Bush,
right,
he wasn't going back saying his government, he needed to carry all the baggage. So we are not saying we don't want our government to generate revenue. But the same government that has not bothered about good roads, it is when you have good roads that people will hold goods and services. When they hold goods and services and they are carrying out their accounts and they make some profit, you have profit before tax, they will pay good taxes. When you have good hospitals and you go and you are able to get yourself treated, then your company, especially if you are being treated by your company or through NHIS, your company will be able to have some money extra and pay good taxes. When you have security reduced, then you will be able, if you are running a company, you will be able to make sure you generate money, pay your staff good salaries. So these are all the things. When you have power, when you have energy,
right,
cost of business will go down. These are the things we are saying. But the worst thing I will do is to be disservice to be a disloyal citizen and say, my country, I wouldn't want my country to generate revenues. I will want my country to generate revenues. But the biggest mistake I will do is to accept my company comparing Nigeria and the level of deterioration of our economy, and to be comparing us with some countries in even in Africa or in across the world. That will be comparing not oranges and pineapple, but probably comparing oranges and something that is not even a fruit at all.
Alastair Wilcox, it's one of the major complaints people have had with the International Monetary Fund, which also seems to think that Nigeria should have increased the VAT several years ago. This thing that they could make proposals for Nigeria, even when people have argued that those proposals don't sit well with Nigeria. What's your thinking, Alastair? If we don't do this, what are the ways out in terms of revenue generation? You think the government is tied in saying this is the only way to go?
I want to support my brother Bala in his approach to demand from government, which is obvious. We all heavy demand from government. But it's not so true that Nigeria cannot be compared to any other country. I don't think Nigeria is Ghana is more developed than Nigeria, and Ghana VAT level, Ghana VAT is 17.5%. If you go to other countries, it's the same thing. So which we put before? Is it the chicken before the hen, or the hen chicken? We're talking about having good hospitals and good roads. It must come with resources, because government, like I said, does not print money. It must come with resources. For you to eat at home, let's break it. So it must come with resources. I mean, government, like I said, yes, everybody wants the best of roads. But of course, government will not do it like that. Everybody wants the best of hospitals. I am in support of the fact that we must make demands of government. I am feeling it. Like I said, I'm not in government. I'm not going near government. I don't know the rock. I don't know the color. So I'm not speaking for government. I'm only speaking as a citizen and rationalizing it based on my financial experiences. It is proper for us to make demands of government. It's proper for the government to meet our daily needs. It is adequate for us. But these things must cost money. Because even in those countries we are looking at, everybody pays taxes. You know, there are places where you cannot escape tax. In Nigeria, everybody escape tax. A lot of people escape tax, paying of tax. A lot of people. But in other countries where we give this good life and good, people pay their taxes. You go to jail for not paying your tax. For not paying your tax. So it doesn't make IMF to tell us, or World Bank to tell us to increase VAT because it is low. I don't work for IMF. I'm a Nigerian.
But Alastair, there's a point Balazaka said, well, not necessarily made, but it seems to have to go all around the discussion and the points he's made about this deficit of trust, especially with government at different levels. I mean, we had a conversation earlier on where people almost pointing fingers at the government and not being able to provide environmental and sanitation infrastructure for people, and should have been monies taken away from taxes. So how do you deal with that deficit of trust?
We also must not always diminish our government or paint our government totally black. I agree we have not lived up to expectation, because I was contributing in the under program. The level of corruption, mismanagement and waste is high, but so 60,000 not still out of our country.
Right.
That is. I must always maintain the fact there are things happening that need to be improved upon. If today you go around the country, you will see levels of things being done. I and Bala was in Abuja. I'm sure the way we met Abuja last year was not the same way we met Abuja this year. There are some adults here and there. I mean, the way the airport was some years back was not the same way the airport is today. I mean, the Abuja International Airport. So there are some things happening. Yes, it may not be up to our expectation or up to the level that we want. But that does not mean that we should diminish our government at every level and then relegate our country to a place where we don't think our country is. We must also have built trust and confidence in our country. But having said that, in terms of revenue must come in for us to have this level of the fact that we're looking at for. And this VAT, like I said, VAT is not punishment tax. It's a consumption tax. I agree that it will increase certain prices of goods here, and I said that from onset. The citizens now, the reaction of the so-called organized private sector. If you have VAT, if the VAT you're going to pay on your input is increased by 2.2%, are you going to take out 10% of the people because they increased VAT? So how do we now monitor you? Because you're still going to pay 2.2%. How do we now monitor you that what you are adding up to the cost of your production is exactly the addition from VAT? Because that's what we have in this country. Look, the price level, Bala knows, the price that we pay in this country is not economic price. Most times we pay economic price like 40%. I mean, having economic consumption of our price is like 40%. Other ones are Nigeria factor price, grid price, confusion price. We add all to every time and give to the people. And the people complain and call government. Okay? So that is our disjointed economic system that we have in the country. We must have confidence in our government. We must have that. Anybody that lost confidence in the country, then you no longer need to exist in the country. At the same time, we must put pressure on government to do what is right. We must put pressure on accountability. We must put pressure on responsibility. This area of waste, whereby state governors and local governments waste resources, and the unfortunate thing, Aghogho, is we don't focus on the state government. If this VAT goes through, if this VAT increase goes through,
okay,
now,
I'm sorry, Alester.
The beneficiaries will be the state governors and local governments.
Sorry to interrupt you, Alester Wilcox. Sorry to interrupt you. And Bala Zaka, just put both of you on hold. We could take a quick ad break. When we come back, we can talk some more on 99.3 Nigeria Info. We're having a big debate here on value-added tax. Bala Zaka and Alester Wilcox. Please keep listening.
Thank you.
This is Hard Facts.
Is a paid announcement.
This is Hard Facts.
All right, welcome back. It's 28 minutes past 5 in the city of Lagos. Raining on the mainland, I understand, on the island. I can't see the rains happening yet, but it could happen later on. Alester Wilcox and Bala Zaka, both chartered accountants, both great public affairs analysts, talking about the value-added tax. Bala Zaka.
Yes, sir.
And Alester Wilcox.
Thank you very much.
All right. So now we've seen the fine lines in the discussion on the value-added tax on way to go, and a lot of disagreement and mistrust on just what to expect. Bala Zaka, you had a number of comments thoughts Alester made about with respect to this ought to have been done a long while ago, and in terms of revenue generation. You,
yes,
a number of speaking interviews with respect to the medium-term expenditure framework and what your thoughts are with forward thinking with what the government hopes to do in the next 2 years. And time is already running. And what's your thinking in terms of tax reform and an overall picture in terms of how to raise revenue for the financing of the budget? Are things happening, or is still a snail pace motion?
Really, there is a need for a total tax law reform. There is a need for that. But because today we are concentrating on this value-added tax, which the government has come out to pronounce,
right,
that is why I want to really concentrate on that. You know, there is what we call tax evasion and tax avoidance.
Right.
When you evade tax, that means you adopt criminal approach, you cook records to escape tax, and you need to be punished for that. But when you avoid tax, what you do is you take advantage of defaults, loopholes, or lacunas in the tax laws to professionally escape paying tax.
Right.
So if you do something about even the tax laws, people will not be able to avoid taxes. And if you, of course, find out those who are evading taxes, you should punish them. Ordinarily, in organized crime, like my senior colleague said, he said in Ghana they do this, they do that. When you go to a place like Ghana,
right,
all people who legitimately generate revenues,
right,
pay taxes. When you go to those places, what you do is expand the tax net. That is what we are supposed to do. And when we are talking about expanding the tax net, it is our duty to make sure we get the barbers properly registered, the hairdresser properly registered,
right,
the Okada rider, the mechanics. Even if they pay 10 kobo, but get them properly registered. So when you expand the tax net, you will generate so much, because, and you will legitimately do that. But when you continue to concentrate
so
on
Mr.
the
Zaka,
few,
so Mr. Zaka,
yes, sir.
so what is so what is so horrendous or that you cannot stomach the fact that the government says because we've increased minimum wage, we want to use this as a noble means of getting revenue?
Okay, it's just like you wanted to just introduce minimum wage to Nigerians. You've not even started giving them with right hand. You want to use the left hand to collect it. And let me point out something that many of us are not happy with this government about. Our leaders. Since we went into democracy. Right. You see, the leaders we have at the moment, they will see something correct and blank, and they will be running away from it and be putting their eyes in the wrong direction. Let me give you a practical example. It is dull, it is elementary, but it is real.
Go ahead.
If you look at Kaduna Abuja Road, instead of beefing the security, going after the criminals, the Nigerian government will just turn a blind eye, and everybody ran away from Kaduna Abuja Road and is now taking train. Is that how you fix security? Is that how you fix Nigeria? The same thing when you look at Ijebu Ode, all this Ondo Road. Instead of going after the criminals, making the road accessible, they will want to run away. They almost recently wanted to start taking up Lagos Ibadan Expressway, the criminals and the kidnappers. As government, you go after them.
Right.
Let's not run away. And let me give you an elementary example now, because we want to discuss at an elementary level, let everybody understand.
Right.
They are saying that there are some things that are tax exempt, VAT exempt, like books, pharmaceuticals, and this. Let me give you a practical example.
Right.
If you go to a shopping mall or a supermarket now,
right,
and you decide to buy books, some books for your children, all these play books, and some drugs, and you decide to pick some chocolates or whatever, do you know at the point of payment, it is the total sum that will come, then the VAT will be under. Did you notice that? They will not say, because you bought books of 10,000 naira and drugs of 500 naira. Let us separate it because these ones are tax exempt and not tax exempt. These are things we are telling the government. The government is getting it completely wrong. Okay, they are saying that when you go, people will go to the hotel and they need to pay, they need to do this because they go there to enjoy themselves. Who told the government that people go to hotel to enjoy themselves? Do you have, if you decide to go to Abuja or Port Harcourt or Calabar, do you have a private house there? You will be forced to go and stay in the hotel.
Right.
And you will be forced to eat there because you can't go roaming in the city of Calabar. You don't know anybody. So do you think it is your wish to buy food 2,000 naira at that point? But the government will just say people will go to the hotel and do this. So when you look at it, the government is not honest. People do this, go to those places and buy because those are the places they will get those things. And let's even look at it. What if you say people should not even go to those places to eat? Do you want to discourage hospitality? Is that not an investment? And when you go to all those hotels, whether for seminars or you go to other places, they also run on diesel, generators and the rest.
Right.
So the truth is this: we want our government to just come out clean. And you may not believe it. Do you know that when you carry out jobs for these MDAs, that is ministries, departments, and agencies,
right,
go and carry out one consultancy job for them or any service. So I've not done any work for them. If you put your invoice there and put VAT, they don't pay. But anything that has to do with you, they will pay. So even when you look at the real culprits, is the government NDAs. I stand to be proved right or wrong, because this, what we are saying, the government is listening, Nigerians are listening, MDAs leaders are listening. So government will tell you, go to the left. Meanwhile, the government is going to the right. No citizen, it's only disloyal citizens that would not want to contribute to the revenue growth of their country. But when you practically see things that are not adding up, and you have the opportunity to air your views like this, you must air your views. Right. The government and leaders must lead by example.
Talking about airing views, I see a number of comments coming up on Facebook. If you want to join the conversation also on WhatsApp, our WhatsApp number is 0809 597 5805. Again, 0809 597 5805. Later on, I will open the line so that I can take in calls. So Alesta, I'm coming to you on this one.
Okay.
Well, maybe I should get your reaction first before I come to you on this one. Please go ahead.
No. Well, I just want to add that one of the canon of taxation is income redistribution between the rich and the poor.
Good.
Because my brother Bala was making reference of those who go to hotels and all whatnot. Now, taxes are levied on luxury goods, not because it's a punishment, but because it is those who can afford to pay it. And that's why I said from origin, from instance that VAT is not a compulsory tax, it's an exceptional tax. When you consume the service that it is vatable. Now, VAT is not charged on the gari you buy from BC or Kapaya. It's not charged on beans that you buy from the roadside malam. It's not charged on yam. It's not charged on the books you go to buy from the local bookshop around you. So there are so many exempts. It's not charged on the pure water you go to buy from somebody, or even the table water you buy on the road. They are not vatted. But when you go to a hotel where you buy a bottle of water for 1,000 naira instead of the normal 100 naira, and then you are the top echelon that for which kind of taxation applies. I'm not saying that everybody does not consume goods that are vatable, but it is by degree. So
Alester Wilcox, so in your estimation, whatever increase that happens, you think it's something that people can cope with, or it will be difficult to deal with?
I do not see the halu-balu of people not coping with whatever increase that comes into it. I do not see the halu-balu. Because, like I said, it now depends on the rationality and the honesty of the organized private sectors from which the VAT are applied for administration. Because most times you go to the supermarket where you buy even the vatable goods, they will just put their own 7.2%. And at what cost they procure that goods? Is it from the original manufacturer? Who will have who will have imputed this cost of additional VAT? How much is it put into those goods? And for all intents and purposes, you might also notice on price increment because some might absorb it. For instance, I don't see a bottle of beer will go from 200 naira to 202 naira, which is the difference. They might just absorb it. There are some that could be absorbed. But those ones that are obvious, maybe the ones you pay across the counter, at hotels, at silent services, yes, those ones are direct. But some of the ones that you pay on consumption, they might even absorb it. And they might, and if they want to spread it, it might be so that the cost might just be minimal. So I think, for me, I agree with Bala to the very largest extent that, look, we must make demands from government. But at the same time, we must also support government to raise revenue. And then make demands that this revenue be properly used. Sorry
to butt in here, Alesta, but talking about raising revenue, I got this message from Chiki Akute via WhatsApp. He says that Nigerians are educated enough to know our leaders are shortchanging us. If the government wants to generate revenue, let them drop the VAT increase and do the following: repair the refineries, stop fuel importation, slash salaries and entitlements of legislators and executive, and finally end selective graft. It is not rocket science. Simple things may argue, but what's your So what do you think? Please go ahead.
Repair the revenue with what? That is one. What are going to do to repair the revenue? Fuel importation. You don't have a revenue. You don't have a refinery. So what will you do to repair revenue? Government does not print money. And I heard somebody always say, let government use their salary by half or the legislature by half, and then they use that to fund. That will make up for the VAT. I think for me, it's one of the most irresponsible and ridiculous analysis. If you take the entire, look, let me say this.
Go ahead.
I am against the jumbo salary or the jumbo pay of government officials or National Assembly members, which is always the focal point. I'm against it,
right,
and I'll keep condemning it. If you take the statistics of what they use, of what they earn, the entire budget of National Assembly is 125 billion. The entire budget of National Assembly for the year,
right? Both
legislators, civil servants, and all whatnot, running costs, expenses, travel, this and that. 125 billion in the last budget,
right?
The salaries and allowance, the salaries of federal civil servants per month is about 140 billion. So even if you reduce that, let's say the National Assembly reduce it by half, it comes to you save 65 billion.
Right.
That does not even fund 1 month salaries of federal civil servants, including the military, police, and all whatnot, which that goes about 130 billion every month. With the new salary increase, with the new minimum wage increase now for government salaries, they might go up to 200 billion every month.
Right.
So where would this money come from? Our stay, which is your year, is dwindling. And of course, with all the instance and everything, with I'm not in total support of the fact that government must pass the bill on duty. I think for me, this is a fairer way of raising revenue because it is targeted to consumption.
Before I get to Bala Zaka very quickly, Alesta, you haven't answered the question in terms of how do you hold government accountable?
No, you just. The way we can hold accountable is the way we talk, because we are all stakeholders. We talk and we ensure that and we point out the faults of government. And this has been going on. I tell you, some of the reforms that are going on today in the system is because of the people. So you cannot go there and put a hood in the neck of the president or the minister. But it is by public advocacy, as we are doing right now. We'll keep doing it. That's how you hold government accountable. When you point out their areas of fault, their areas of wrong, areas of corruption, their areas of inefficiencies, you keep bringing that to the fore. And then that will cascade up. It might be ignored at the initial, but when the cacophony of voices becomes louder, they have no choice but to listen.
All right,
with which fund? Yes, I agree with which fund? I want my country not to import fuel any longer. But of course, the fund has to come from somewhere.
All right, Alesta. Bala Zaka,
yes,
this is Dante who was quoted to have said the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Eternal pessimist on this one, you appear to side with, but then it does appear that this is what they have agreed to raise revenue with, and going by also the medium-term expenditure frame. Looking at the entire picture, this is how they think things can work out. But you're stuck on your own point on this not being the right way to go.
It is not, and I can explain. Alesta mentioned, of course, one of the canons of taxation.
Right.
There are many. One of them is fairness. Government should be fair to her citizens. Okay, let's take another local examples again. If you look at today, we all know since we came into democracy, we were told that the government of Nigeria, regardless of whether party or whatever, but we know they are all Nigerian citizens, all the leaders.
Right.
The government of Nigeria spent $16 billion to give us electricity.
Okay.
They couldn't give us the electricity. Was our government fair to us, or is our government fair to us? Now they couldn't do that. They now unbundled NEPA, handed them to. Now we are battling with discourse, paying high tariffs again, and with taxes. Is the government fair? Because when we talk about the canons of taxation, we will do this. What about fairness? So it will be irresponsible of anybody, any citizen, including me, if I will want other countries to laugh at my country, to laugh at my government, and to feel my government cannot generate revenues. But is my government fair? If we're talking about the canons of taxation. And when you also talk, yes, VAT is a consumption tax.
Right.
And whether we accept it or not, Nigeria is more of a consuming nation than a producing nation. So what the government basically wants to do is, are they telling me they just want to, is that the way also to stop or discourage Nigerians' propensity to consume? Even if you want to discourage propensity for consumption, there should be strategies. And back to the other example that we gave, there are places you will go, pharmaceutical or hospital, they will tell you, okay, don't worry, these ones are taxed. In fact, let me tell you another thing. Many Nigerians, for those who carry out transactions, online transactions, immediately you want to transfer maybe 1,000 naira to somebody. As the thing is just allowing you, it will show you the VAT. As it is allowing you, is it the rich that will be carrying out those kind of transactions? As we say, we want to go to e-commerce or e-transaction. Every Nigerian will be involved. So one thing the government does not know is this. Oh, I don't want to say they don't know. One thing the government does not want to address is they don't want to understand that for every law they come out with, it permeates across the strata of Nigeria, regardless of who they think is involved. When you do that now, when I go to a shop, I will buy books, I will buy drugs, I will buy everything combined. When the sum total will come, the VAT will just calculate everything. It will not say, no, let me separate the drugs. It's the same thing we are trying to say. So some of the things the government we are just saying the government should think through. And because the government is not fair, that is why sometimes the citizens appear reluctant. We are not even supposed to question our government when we are talking about tax. Because it's one of the fiscal tools required to develop a country. But the truth is we question because they create doubts in us. They say they will do things they don't do. They will say they will create roads. You will see the roads. They will say they will give us hospitals. If they put all those things, we will save the disposable income that we have. And we will pay the taxes. If there are drugs in the hospital, do I need to go and buy drugs? If the roads are good, do I need to bother myself? If electricity is there, let me tell you, there will be glut at the filling station. People will not be bothered going to buy. You can't see jerry cans competing with cars. But let me give you another raw example.
Let's go ahead.
The other day, take if you go now, you meet all those people selling like this, people repairing, electricians or electrical people repairing things. When you go, a TV repairer will tell you that yes, he can repair TV for you because he can on a I pass my neighbor generator. But when you go to that same person with a water heater or you go there with a microwave, he cannot be able. He needs a diesel generator. And if that diesel generator is not there, then he has to wait for when NEPA or DISCO will bring light. So most of these people you even think are making money, they are not making. But if you provide these things, then the next thing is you profile them. If you are a barber, you must be registered. An Okada rider must be registered. A radio repairer, a hairdresser. If they have this line and they do this job, between you and me, sir, they will not say they will not want to be registered.
So that's the
because
point,
it is even in their interest.
Balazaka, the point, I'm going to come to Alester Wilcox because I got a number of questions here. Well, comments more, but question I see from Olaide Cruz for Alester Wilcox. Alester, it says that who are these people who will pay tax increase? Struggling teachers, poor farmers, jobless youths.
Exactly.
So he says, if you have money, millions of people don't know what they will eat this night. These are people that cover the large ratio of Nigeria. How can they pay tax, Mr. Lester?
Well, Bala said, talked about, now I don't know where that question is coming from. If you this is what Bala is saying. Bala is talking about the Spanish tax rate.
Right.
In terms of putting the hairdressers, which is obvious. You should have done that.
Good.
But if you do that during the contract, the hairdressers should come and pay or Canada, the same people will raise up and say, "Oh, we want to kill the common man." That is the thing. That in essence, the market woman, the hairdresser, the Canada, who makes far more money than I do sitting there in the office every day, should pay tax. But if you start that today, you will hear the same man that sent that WhatsApp. I will tell you, we want to kill the common man. Nobody has increased personal income tax. Nobody has increased company income tax. The one that has paid or personal that has paid. What is being proposed is VAT, consumption tax. And I've made that clear. You do not pay consumption tax on the amala you eat on the road. The one you buy in the market, the one you buy in some of the eateries, they are not VAT. They are not VAT paid on those ones. You don't pay you don't pay VAT when you go to buy clothes from a Kwani market. They are not VATable. So this is the thing that people must understand. You keep saying the common man, and I've said that the moment in your studio. From this so common man makes far more money than you make sitting down in that place broadcasting to the people every day. Your current that makes far more money than you. If you tell him to pay tax tomorrow, he will have a problem to pay tax. But let me say this. There are poor communities in this country that have uninterrupted power supply. Bonny, my community, is one of them. There are 2 communities in River State and 2 in Delta that have 24/7 uninterrupted power supply. Please, to what extent have people taken advantage of those communities, of those areas, to start industries, and for those that work there to have their services there to generate revenue and pay taxes? I'm sure that one local government, which is local government, cannot boast of any increment in tax based on the availability of power 24/7. In fact, in Finima community, you don't even pay for power because it's supplied free of charge by LNG. There are 2 other communities in Delta State, upland communities, that are uninterrupted power supply. They are there. Have people taken advantage of them? The artisans, the tailors, the barbers in those areas, have been taking advantage of that. Do they pay their taxes? So sometimes we want to rationalize this thing because we just want to play to the gallery of the common man. There are most more common men make far more money than me and you make sitting down. Those who do all these artisans, they make money, but they don't pay taxes. And so even this tax does not in any way, it's not a direct tax. It's a tax you pay on consumption. And certain consumptions are excluded. Yes, you might go to, for instance, you go and buy water from Sheraton Hotel, you pay VAT because that is a major, because you are going to pay 1,000 naira for a bottle of water that you pay 100 naira outside. So if you go there, then you should pay because it is tax that is based on high-class consumption. Okay, you can also go to a smaller hotel where they won't charge you VAT.
But Alester, a point you made.
What about buying that water in a supermarket?
There's no VAT on it because those.
No, when you buy with other things, they will charge.
Most of them are not. But if you look at their receipts, let's be practical. If you look at your receipts on anywhere you go and shop, take ShopRite for example, you will see the VATable items. It will be clearly stated because those VAT are already embedded in the price. Most places, the VAT already embedded in the price. And if you go and buy, you look at your receipt, then you see the items that are VATable and those are not VATable. They are separated in everything in those supermarkets. So places like where they sell drugs and hospitals, they don't charge VAT. But I'm not saying this is nobody wants to pay tax. That is obviously. Even in the UK, when VAT was increased, they protested. Are you saying that the UK economy is not strong? Are people not rich there? But also there are common and poor people there. So but what I'm saying in essence is that it is not, we should fight government policy, we should make government accountable, but it's not every government policy we should fight. they are the ones that will benefit us. Government must raise revenue. That is obvious. And then when these revenues are raised, we must hold government accountable to implement the revenues. Today, Lagos Ibadan Express Road is being built. A lot of money is being sunk into it. There are a lot of infrastructure deficits that government needs to fund. Of course, they have to raise this money. But the fact is, after this money is being raised, we must put serious pressure. We must continue to put pressure on government to be more accountable, to reduce the corruption, to reduce waste, so that whatever one naira that is put in a project, we are seeing a 1 naira result. That for me is the best way to go. But to see that government should remain, hold their hands, and then begin to shout and owe salaries and owe allowances and salaries, and workers cannot get their money paid, or people can no longer get their money paid. So if they can't get money paid, how will you spend? If workers cannot get salaries, how will you spend and stimulate the economy?
Let me come in a bit also.
Okay.
Okay. Like sir, I will still insist that we are all interested in our government paying. Like the kingdom of Bonny, where you said we have the LNG and the rest. Fine, you have 100% lie there. If the barber, the radio repairer, the mechanic, the hairdressers are not paying taxes there, then it is also the fault of the government for not profiling them. It's the duty of the government to also organize our citizens. You organize them and profile them. When you profile, they cannot escape all these taxes. But there is also what we call minimum tax. You see, when you talk about in Nigeria, that's why we said we all agree that the tax laws needs to be amended. Right. Minimum tax, honestly, in the context of Nigeria, should be abolished. And what is happening in the context of Nigeria is this: even if you have not made profit throughout the year, there is something government of Nigeria will still insist and charge you called minimum tax. Honestly, if you want to encourage entrepreneurs or business owners, if somebody does not make profit, exempt him. You will also encourage him. But in the case of those people you are talking, those artisans, whether they make profits or not, you go and lock up their shops. You do this. In that case, it's wrong.
That's what government gives now.
Sir?
There's also pioneer status that government gives to companies.
No, that one is for big people now trying to pioneer living status is given to you if you will provide yourself with light, you will provide yourself with good roads, you will provide yourself things. You don't give pioneer status to a barber. You don't give pioneer status to a radio mechanic or a hairdresser.
So a barber that does not have his income profile, how will government know the actual income? That
is the duty of government to insist to profile people. If government is profiling people, we wouldn't have been having terrorists even in our country. It is the duty of the government to profile us. And even know whether I'm even a Nigerian or I'm just talking. Meanwhile, I belong to one ocean somewhere. It's the duty of government to profile the barbers and the mechanics.
The government will not open the books of accounts for the barber or show him how to keep his records for an accountant to audit and know his price. The Canada does not have a book of accounts that anybody can verify. So that is why you have the minimum tax for those sorts of.
Yeah, but the local government should know people. If you are a councillor, are you not supposed to know people within your jurisdiction or local government chairman? I'm not saying the federal government should come down, but you should know now. At that level, they should profile people. If not, there is no guarantee that I'm not from Toronto country, and I'm still eating in Nigeria and enjoying with you. Profile so that you know.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I'll have to leave it at that because this debate is going to go on. And it's great we have discussion, Bala Zaka as well as Alester Wilcox. Both of them.
Thank you, sir.
Pleasure. And thank you very much, Bala. That was a good one.
Thank you, my senior colleague. I hail.
We can always meet at the point some other day.
All right. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, both gentlemen. We're going to have this discussion continue right after the news with Godwin Asukwo. This time around, I'm going to get your reactions because I see many of you have your comments. Many of you wanted to call during the conversation, but I assure you this will continue after the news and on several forums on Nigeria Info. We're going to continue the discussion. I'm Aghogho Oboh. Please keep listening.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.